Bama?
I really like what UCLA is doing in the portal.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that running back? Yeah.
Where'd they get him?
Ball
Ball
State.
State.
Oh, nice.
He's got a pet alligator, Chris, Crocky J.
No way.
Yeah, Carson Steele. Look him up.
White running back with a
Yeah.
pet alligator? Sign me up. Sign me up. Steve, super wild card weekend.
Yes.
Yes. Do you worry that it's going to kind of be one of these things? We were talking about this yesterday, where like the playoff, the first round, there's a lot of, poor quality games. When we were looking at this yesterday, the 2 years we've had this super wild card weekend thing, the average margin of victory has been 17 points or so.
Mm-hmm.
That trend could continue this weekend because we got 2 injured quarterbacks possibly.
Yeah.
And in the Seattle-San Francisco game, you got a double-digit line. Do we have one too many teams in the dance?
Yeah, I've said for a while now, guys, I think there's the top 3 in the AFC and the top 3 in the NFC. Those are the teams that can win multiple games in the playoffs. I don't see the winner of Giants-Vikings winning 2 games. I don't see the winner of Jags-Chargers winning 2 games.
I could see the Jags winning 2 games.
I could see the Chargers winning 2 games.
I could see the Chargers winning 2 games.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay.
Not my crystal ball.
Okay.
Probably Kansas City, yeah.
Kansas City. And both those teams played Kansas City tough. Jags played Kansas City tough at Arrowhead this season.
Mm-hmm.
So, my thing is just you're looking up and you could get 3 double-digit margin of victory games this weekend.
Correct.
And part of that you can't control because of the Lamar injury, and you've heard next to nothing. I remember saying this last week. I said the quotes, this was actually Monday, the quotes you heard out of the Ravens locker room, it was like Lamar died or he wasn't coming back, or like Isaiah Likely said, he's always going to be family. That doesn't sound like a guy who's coming back next week. It doesn't sound like a guy who's coming back in the divisional round if they beat Cincinnati. And then Tua did not clear concussion protocols, so it sounds like he's out for sure. Which team has a better chance of making it competitive out of the 2, Steve?
Oh, I think the Ravens, just because of their toughness and the idea of possibly injuries on the Bengals' offensive line, familiarity there, division opponent, and, Baltimore still has some great players on defense. Roquan getting the bag earlier this week, and good to see. He's been awesome for them this year, but their limitations on offense have just blown how bad they are on offense.
Yeah.
So I think there's one interesting game on the weekend, and that's Chargers-Jaguars. I get it.
Can't wait.
People are fired up for the Giants and the Vikings. I am not. I watched that game a couple weeks ago. But I look at the Chargers and Jags. You got 2 fresh faces at the quarterback position in there, 2 head coaches, 2 totally different roads. And Dougie P, having already hoisted that trophy, and Staley going about things not many coaches have done. So there's some originality there that I find fascinating. But that matchup, like I said, I like seeing new teams in the dance and a chance in the tournament. And what better than the Chargers and the Jags, who have, over the years continued to underachieve. And it's great to see them matched up Saturday night.
So we're going to make our picks in a couple minutes. We're going to break down each game a little bit more. But before we talk a little college football with Steve, because he was just in L.A. For the Natty, let's rank the excitement level we have for each respective game. Okay. Number 1, you just said it. Chargers-Jaguars. I think that's fair. I can't argue against that one.
Hey, Pimp, are we ranking these or are we giving them a ranking?
No, we're ranking them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, player.
Tight.
I'm going 1 Jags and Chargers. I'm parking in the same garage as Steve.
I'm a sicko. I'll go Cowboys-Bucs.
That's up there, dude. That's maybe it could be 2 for me. It's probably 3. Number 2 for me is the Giants and the Vikings. I actually am excited about that game. I think it's going to be a really good football game. Sign me up for part 2 of that game. There were a lot of points that were left on off the board in that first matchup.
Steve, you just saw it, but it was a 3-point game at the Horn.
At the Horn, 61 yards or whatever it was.
Yep.
Game had a little of everything. Okay, not
sure
good
did.
enough for Steve. Who's your number 2, Steve?
Probably Bills Dolphins, just to see the scene and know it's going to be over quickly.
Okay. Well, it's getting deep fast. I would go 3.
I was going to say we should start at the bottom and go up.
Yeah, I would say
it's easier to do that.
I would say 3. I just said this to Macon. I don't know that I'm real convicted about them covering, but it might be worth a flyer on Seattle money line. Stranger things have happened. Brock Purdy's on a hell of a run. Some of his interceptable balls, some of these mistakes he's been making that he's been getting away with, maybe he doesn't get away with them this weekend. I mean, this right now you could get it at like I think plus 400 or around there.
Well, and the Seahawks have been bad for a while now, but you throw caution to the wind once you're at the party, and we've seen evidence that they can do it with these skill players, with Metcalf and Lockett and Kenneth Walker and Geno having the best year of his career. I don't hate that. I don't hate that comment.
San Francisco defense is going to be fired up, man. I feel like late in the season they didn't prove their best at times. And, yeah, obviously you have an issue at corner and all that. We've talked about that. The back end has gotten burned a couple times throughout the course of the year with MEs and that sort of thing. So, yeah, to your point, anything could happen. So that's as far as I think the rankings should go, 3 games. After that, I know you said Baltimore will muddy it up, but that's not going to be fun to watch.
No.
Fuck.
Dead under.
That's a dead under at 40 and a half. And Lamar's not going to play.
No.
Lamar's
I don't expect it.
So at 40 and a half, you'd hit the under.
I would. I already see 41 out there. I love that under.
Okay, well, we'll get back to the gambling side of things when we give out our locks and talk about these games a little bit more. But the Monday night national championship game wasn't very watchable either, depending on where you sat. I didn't enjoy it. I mean, it's fun. Georgia has entered that kind of like spectacle echelon where it's like it's just fun to watch them, and I didn't enjoy it, but it is objectively kind of fun to watch them just assault teams on the field. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have David Pollock turned to Nick Saban, or at least in his direction, and was like, they now occupy this top spot in college football. Mm-hmm. How tight is their stronghold? Do we even have to have a conversation about who the best team is next year?
No, because their schedule's a joke too next year. Our 3 out of conference are brutal. They don't play good teams from the other side of the SEC. Put Georgia in the playoff next year. I don't care what the quarterback situation is. I look at the foundation that Kirby Smart and his staff has built, and it is just tremendous. Everything you see, being around that team at 2 different games, and just see everything is about toughness and giving yourself up. And then the offense, I think, doesn't get enough credit. I mean, that's as good as a game plan I have seen. TCU's shown flashes of having some talent on defense. They made the splash plays against Michigan, which ends up being the difference in the game when you go back and look. And that's why, after days of leading up to the game, going back and watching that Fiesta Bowl, Michigan's got to be sick.
Yeah.
2 pick sixes, 3 times with the ball inside the 5-yard line, and you get 3 points. That stuff, and then games of that magnitude that I went back and was like, wow, this – credit for TCU making the plays when they had to, but Michigan really, really gave them that game. But I can't take did TCU belong there? Of course they did. They earned their way there, and it was very unfortunate the way they played. I thought Duggan was really good about coming out of the Fiesta Bowl knowing that he had to play better. He didn't play great in the Fiesta Bowl. Overthrows, decision-making. He was great in the run game, with that zone read and stuff. But you saw first, third down, of the game. Georgia comes out in their 2-man deal, and they get the matchup they want. They got their third receiver on the nickel. They run that cover 2-man beater, a deep out with the slot receiver, and Max throws it in the dirt. And you think about the week of preparation and knowing, like, hey, that's the best play we have in our playbook. Our first third down.
The defending
champion in the country. This is what we're going with. and your leader quarterback throws it in the dirt, it didn't set a great precedent. The other play, the big play they get is just because a DB screws up the coverage. It actually was the same kid who ends up being the defensive MVP in the bowl game or in the national championship. So it was as bad as it gets, and it just sucks. I always say when teams get to that stage, you hope to see them play well. You can't beat the defending national championship if you don't play well. TCU didn't play well, but a lot of that had to do with how good Georgia was.
Also, credit to guys in the booth, Kirk and them, actually doing a podcast for about 45 minutes of the football game, because that's what it turns into, man.
I mean, you saw. I thought TCU when it was 31-7 and there was a minute 20. I said you can't go 3 and out here.
Right.
They're going to score again, and even worse, he throws the pick.
Right.
And that's where it's just like.
Now, if they play 10
half.
times, they're probably losing by 39 of them. Do you think it just was a product of them not showing up, or, I mean, that's it? Just feels like there's a talent gap there.
Yeah, I still thought there were some good things. Like Max, I mean, the first interception where the kid makes a great over the shoulder catch. Quentin Johnston's wide open.
Yeah, wide
open. The quarterback draw they tried running when he falls down, that thing is wide open for 20 yards. You think about the third downs, and that was the key. It was just Georgia. Georgia was averaging, I think, going into the last possession, they were averaging 11 yards per play.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot you could do
on
the other side, but only keeping that unit off the field, and TCU couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But Georgia was totally a different team. I thought they kind of sleepwalked into the Peach Bowl thinking they watched Ohio State on tape against Michigan and knowing the athletes they have up front. But I thought that was a credit to Ohio State with the game plan they had going at that secondary. But TCU doesn't have the depth and the versatility at wide receiver that Ohio State had, and that's why that matchup was so close. So, it's all these ways, the way it plays out, Ohio State's got to be sick. You're trying to tell me they're not watching that game Monday night saying, wow, we could have been national champions.
Yep.
We could have beat TCU. So there's a lot in there, but again, they are the face of the sport. I think it is good for the sport that it look like that, because now everybody knows what they have to get to. That is the cusp of the sport, and there's ways to go about it now with the portal and acquiring talent and things like that. But now you know what you have to get to if you want to be considered up in that upper echelon of the sport.
How was the viewing experience? How was the scene in LA?
Did you slip and fall?
Did you tailgate? Did you find a way to tailgate?
I was doing TV starting at 10 a.m. local, guys. I was doing College Football Live. I was doing Championship Drive. We had a Twitter show going, Daily Wager. So we were busy. I couldn't believe how fast the day went. But I'll tell you what, that stadium is awesome.
You like the stadium.
I love how when you walk in, everything's down. I don't know what, like just that bowl feeling. But, I mean, everything's – obviously it's brand new. It's pristine. It was amazing to know that the end zones are not closed and rain could come in
that's
on the
interesting.
Side. Yeah. So my 9 days in the Los Angeles area, I can't believe how much it rained. It was unbelievable.
Wow, that's wild.
And,
you still got a chance to hang out with Ryan Russillo, though.
I did. Multiple times.
Yeah, that's good.
Multiple times.
Hey, I'm getting a sense here. I've got no information. Maybe less Sports Center with Scott Van Pelt for White Steve. Maybe a little more Roadshow.
Roadshow Steve, yeah.
He was on his game.
Yeah.
He was glowing.
Yep.
He was happy and smiling.
He likes to be on the road.
Yeah. He loves stadiums. He loves gear. He loves games.
Yeah, more free gear.
Let the dog eat.
Yep, and also nice new background, too. I didn't talk about that. You got a football Zoom background.
Hey, do y'all find Kirby authentic and likable?
Yes.
Because I do.
I do.
Absolutely.
I do.
Absolutely.
I just think he's a guy who eats, sleeps, breathes football. You know?
And did you catch that? I think you were at a bar at an Outback Steakhouse, but did you catch that that on-field post gamer? It was entertaining.
No, I was in the car on the way home.
Yeah, and he was like, complacency can start to creep, and it's creeping. But we're gonna be aware of it. We're gonna make them think that they're doubting us again next year when we go from number 3 and number 1, consensus number 1, already putting us in the playoff.
I like the guy.
I just love my kids.
He wants to hurt people. He just can't do it himself, so he makes the kids want to hurt people.
Kids want to work. They want to hit. They want to work, and they want to hit, and I love these kids.
Okay, so Jalen Carter's the first pick out of all these Bulldogs, but give me maybe the best pro, in your opinion, that people aren't thinking about coming up for April.
But it starts with a Brock next year.
On Georgia?
Yeah, this year. Not Brock. You can't say Brock. But he
Brock,
looked good out there.
I think, was a Coughlin Award winner on the show and went for 150.
He had a great game.
Yeah.
Seeing him get fed like that was a dream.
He's got great hands, man.
He's got every. The problem is, guys, when you look at him, like on the field for warm-ups, you look at him and because he's all the tight ends are together and he's standing next to Darnell Washington.
Yeah, that guy's huge.
Who is just a monster.
Yeah.
6'8", 275, and Bowers, is standing next to him and you're like, wow, he doesn't look that big. But then when you see him out split out in the slot and you're like, oh, okay, he's going to beat this nickel.
It's a matchup problem, man.
Yeah. Matchup nightmare. Might be the toughest matchup in the sport.
So Carter or Washington, I'd like to see him in the pros.
While Steve keeps thinking on this question, I don't know that there's been a historically good team like this where I can't name more than 5 of the Cats.
Well, to be fair, it's not that entertaining to watch Georgia in the regular season, so it's not like I got a lot of reps.
You're letting me off the hook. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Steve, who you think is going to be surprise people?
Can we get an answer, Steve?
He can't name 5 of them either.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of draft guys from there. I mean, a lot of guys are coming back. When you look at that roster, it's sophomore.
You can say Ringo. You can say Broderick Jones.
I'm not there. I think Ringo's got a lot of work to do. Knowing what he looked like against Marvin Harrison Jr., I wasn't there on that level with him getting the Ringo. Now, did he make the play to steal a national championship last year? Yes, he did. Did he get the benefit of that and being the name that was, you're looking for anything from a team that wins a national championship and loses 15 guys to the draft. The namesake is guy. So Carter was the guy I said before the season, like, whoever plays Georgia is going to be like, oh, man, they lost 15 guys. And then they see 88 there, and you're like, he wasn't one of the 15 guys that got drafted. So, they play a lot of guys on the defensive line. Those guys are coming back. I just, when you look at, Dumas Johnson's a true sophomore. He's from St. Francis here in Baltimore. That kid is a kid I look at. Was like, I think he's got that next level, that the Kobe Dean deal where there's a lot put on those linebackers in that system. And I think he struggled with that, and that's what the team was worried about early in the year. But the way their schedule's set up, I think Arian Smith's a burner, like a track guy receiver. You saw him run the route against Ohio State where the kid fell down. That didn't take long for him to get to the end zone. And A.D. Mitchell, had the game-winning touchdown against Ohio State. His last catch of the season was in week 1. He dealt with a high ankle the whole year. So there was just a lot of things morphed into their season. But Jalen Carter, I think that guy – people talking about he takes plays off. He didn't take many off Monday night.
You're telling me they threw too much at Dumas Johnson?
Yeah.
Dumas. Goddamn.
I had gotten it back on track. All right. Hey, Steve, who else? There are 3 more spots in the playoff for next year. Who are we eyeing? Who with those USC Trojans? Yeah.
I don't know. Not with that defense.
Okay. Bama?
I really like what UCLA is doing in the portal.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that running back. Yeah.
Where'd they get him?
Ball State.
Oh, nice.
He's got a pet alligator, Chris Crocky J.
No way.
Yeah, Carson Steele. Look him up.
White running back with a pet alligator. Sign me up. Sign me up, dude. Unbelievable.
In that offense, he'll be the real deal.
Look at that guy's lettuce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gorgeous.
What?
Well, you said it.
The lettuce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, UCLA. What about that defense? Is that defense good enough to
My wife didn't get the Stetson Bennett thing from you.
Oh, well, I've backpedaled a good deal. I mean, that close crop, I wouldn't. He needs to let it be a bit curly.
Okay. So give us 2 more playoff watch list teams, and we can.
Man.
And you're off the hook for college football for the year. What about Florida State?
Yeah,
Florida
FSU.
What about
team,
Florida State?
sure.
Florida State's team.
They're
really
going to be
like
the
that
most hyped
quarterback.
team coming in.
Yeah, I like that. I like that QB a lot, man.
Jordan Travis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, watched him play Florida, and I was like, yeah, kid's the truth.
All right, let's throw Florida State in there, and then.
Is there a
Penn
is there
State?
a Big Ten team? Is Penn State
yeah,
on
let's
the
go
right?
Penn State. Penn
Okay.
State. I like Penn State.
Oh,
All right.
So we got the whole map covered here.
Yeah.
We've got Florida State, Penn State, fucking
UCLA.
Think of those uniforms, Chris.
Georgia
Dogs.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That'd be a nice looking playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Be a nice looking playoff.
Very good. All right, there you go.
Okay.
There's your college football. Okay, so we're back to Wild Card Weekend.
Yeah.
I want to go game by game here.
I'm losing
do
to
it.
Chris.
Yeah. Okay. Well, before we get to the locks,
What do I win for winning the title?
Reed, you want to take us
it's not
through?
over
It's
yet.
not over. You
Player.
said
Come on.
last week. Wait.
Macon, is your pick 5 pool over?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Steve and I, season-long pick 5 pool. We both finished third. Separate pools. We both
Well,
finished third.
you can put regular season champion next to your name.
I was 58%.
Hey, last week I thought we said we were going to keep going. Now we're not because your boy goes 3-0. 3-0. Panthers plus 3.5. Commies plus 7.5. That was free money. Steelers minus 2.5. More free money. Macon went 2-1. Steve went 1-2. So he let us
Steve's
back in
at
the.
31. Chris one behind at 30, and Macon one behind him 29.
Let the record show Steve won the regular
What a-
season.
So
What
the
a
second week in a
crumble
row,
job by Macon.
the second week in a row, we're gonna have Macon go first.
Hey, I don't know. Are we?
Well,
are we
let's
there
not
yet?
give them out yet. Let's just talk about the games a
Hey.
little
Yeah,
bit.
let's do the games.
Hey, you-
Going in chronological order?
Yeah, sure. So the first one is what? San Francisco,
yeah.
Seattle. Okay, go ahead.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy, is he ever going to play below average in a game?
Well, that's the thing. If some of
I
these
think it's this game.
If some of these mistakes get, amplified, and they, they're a little sluggish getting out the gate, I could see this being a cover at the very least. And like I said, I would sprinkle a little bit on the money line. I think the Seahawks are probably the team playing best in the NFC right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not a hot take, but they have to survive Wild Card Weekend. This is a tough spot for them. You know, I mean, nobody thinks Seattle's going to win this game.
Nobody.
And when you look at it, since the merger, there's been 23 games where the team that swept the other team in the regular season, 2-0 going into the playoffs, plays the team a third time, and the favorites are 14-9. So it happens, and between 94 and 2021, they're 10-5. So, you never know what happens Wild Card Weekend, and it doesn't matter that a team beat a team twice. That's a really hard thing mentally for a team going into the playoffs. We got to beat this team a third time. It is hard to win games in the National Football League, and a team like Seattle feels like they have nothing to lose. So, yeah.
They played December the 15th. It was a one-possession game. Niners win 21-13.
And it was decisive, and that's the point is, the Niners played very well. There was a long stretch in that game where Purdy was excellent, and then, he was dealing with, I don't know if it was a shoulder, an oblique, actually. They brought pressure. He kind of bailed out and missed a wide-open dude, and then there was a long stretch where he was missing throws. And so he can look human, and he looked human in that game at times, and as you put it, that'd be a cover.
And they scored 21 points against a Big 12 defense without turning the ball over. So what happens if they start to turn the ball over?
Exactly.
Now, counterpoint.
Yeah.
Listen to this. 37-7 Niners.
You always do this.
I mean, are you going to be surprised by that at 8 o'clock on Saturday
but
night?
I won't be heavily invested in the Seahawks, I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
If anything, I'll just be sprinkling.
Okay.
Chase sprinkle.
Okay.
Um,
Pre-chase.
Yeah, so that's the first one.
Get you pregnant.
Yeah, pre-chase. You got to watch out for the pre-chase. Matt's laughing at that.
It's not a well-thought-out joke.
Seattle, San Francisco, that's your 4:35 p.m. and then 8:15 Saturday night it gets real. And here's the thing: we just had Dougie P on the show. I kind of reminded him that in 2018 we played the Saints, and the Saints beat us 44-7 or whatever it was in the regular season. We go to play them again. Jacksonville won 38-10 100 days ago when they played the Chargers in L.A. There's no guarantee that these games are going to be the same type of game. In fact, this is going to be probably one of the best games of the weekend, if not the best game of the weekend. And a big deal to me is, can the Jags run the football against this really, I don't want to use the word soft, but they're not heralded, this run defense for the Chargers. There was a 3-week span in December where the Jags went for 190, 170, 160 on the ground, and then you get 19 yards last week. And the first time they played them, they ran the ball up their you-know-whats. Yeah, I'm trying not to cuss. And they had James Robinson who went for a century. So the run game is going to be a key for Jacksonville at home. The atmosphere in that building is going to be electric.
James Robinson, famed fourth back for the Jets.
I know.
Wild how the
he
world
went off
works.
in that first game.
Yeah.
Is there a trade where both teams can lose?
Yeah, it's called a lose-lose.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Hey, look out for – we got a mush on the call, and this is important, I think. Al Michaels is on the call with Tony Dungy.
Yeah.
All we've heard from Al all year is disappointment in the product on the field.
Right.
I don't know if this is going to be the Trevor Justin shootout that all you people are anticipating. Could be a little muddy.
Yeah, it could be muddy. Could be muddy, Steve. What do you think, without giving away your locks?
It's hard to, everybody's going to talk about the quarterbacks in the game, but I'm not sure who I trust more. Trevor had basically a playoff game last week, did not play well. He did not play well last week. I mean, throws that were there, I thought the broadcast did a good job of pointing that stuff out, and they were very, very fortunate to win that game. If Dobbs doesn't turn the ball over, Tennessee wins that game with ease. So that on top of the other side with Herbert, who first time being in this situation, Mike Williams sounds like he's going to play. It was a back spasm. Rashawn Slater, is he back?
How could you, Brandon Staley, give him a back spasm?
You're an idiot, Brandon Staley.
Coach's fault.
Yeah.
So we get Bosa back, right?
Yeah.
Bosa
And
D's.
Slater sounds like he's going to play or no?
He practiced today.
Practiced, yeah.
Yeah. I don't love it, but I'll take the Chargers.
And the first time they played, Keenan Allen didn't play.
There you go.
I'm not saying that's a 28-point difference there, but this game's going to be it's going to be fun. It really is. Now, the one thing that you have to ask yourself, hey, the reason that Trevor played poorly, certainly the things that Tennessee did defensively, but also the fact that for much of the game he couldn't get in a rhythm. Tennessee possessed the football. They kept it away. There is something to that, the rhythm, getting into a groove. And I just wonder if the Chargers can do that the same way. I don't think they can. The Jags have been they've been pretty good stopping the run. So they got their screen game has to be, the screen game has to be effective, and they've got to string drives out. Okay, that's Saturday night. Chargers-Jacksonville. That's going to be a beauty. Bevel Conway. Well, no, because Doug Peterson fucked it up.
A little bit. I don't mind the black, teal, white, which is what he revealed it would be. Black helmet.
Helmet, black helmet, teal
White
jersey,
pants?
white pants.
Like
pants.
It's better than the all teal.
And
That's their best uniform.
And if the Chargers go all white, I think it's really good.
Okay.
I think it's really good.
Okay.
Skylar Thompson in Buffalo.
Sunday, 1:00, and we were going to live stream this one. I don't know.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're going to be live streaming this one. I was thinking about live streaming Chargers, Jags, but I'd like to get drunk.
Yeah.
Saturday night. Could do both. That game could go till 11:30. Clock's about to strike midnight on me.
Bedtime.
Yeah, I'm going to turn into a. I might
Macon
turn
going to
into
make it for both? We got 3 night games this weekend. Do you see the end of all 3?
Yes,
Yeah.
he sees the end of all 3.
Yeah, I
Sitting
love
there
ball.
drinking tea with mid-length white socks on his couch with his legs crossed.
Well, and my dog's on my lap.
Yep.
Don't forget my dog.
Yep. In his sunroom.
Yeah. We need a new word.
For sunroom?
Yeah.
Train
Lanai.
room.
I hate Florida
Right.
room. I hate sunroom.
How are
Lanai.
sunrooms in January in Virginia? Pretty nice.
They're not
Pretty-
great because all the
pretty cold.
leaves are off the tree and
Ah.
the trees, and you can hear the CSX.
I love the choo choo.
Yeah,
I really do.
yeah.
Right.
Sometimes he'll text me and be like, "Hey, train's coming."
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Right down the street. But I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge soon. I'm not going to be your neighbor for long. You know that. Don't act surprised. You're my real estate agent.
Yeah. Should I take any offense? Because when I told you we were moving in, you were all excited.
Yeah, well,
2 years later,
things
see ya.
change. Yeah, Sunday, 1 o'clock.
Hey, we should tell Steve we're hanging out. We're going bowling.
Mm-hmm.
We
There's an uptick in hanging out.
yeah, we're hanging out a lot. We're getting along really
Okay.
well.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
I invite you to a lot of basketball games.
Yep, you did last night.
Yeah.
Yep. I had to pass.
Yeah. It was one of those when you know it's a no, and then you can. I've already.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
seat's been taken,
Yep,
but you
seat's taken.
just.
All right, so 1 o'clock, Miami, Buffalo. Man, I'm
Can I say this?
Yeah.
All right. This weekend and next weekend, it's about finding the blowout. There's one blowout every single weekend.
This is
of
the
Super
one.
wild card, and this. I think people are going to try and talk themselves into San Francisco. We talked about that game. I don't like it.
This is it.
game is the blowout.
Yep.
That's what I got.
Yeah, it is. Because think about it. If Skylar Thompson takes Miami up to Buffalo, how many points do you think they score? 17?
I was just
10.
going to say 17.
13, 17? I got stuck with the over at 44 because I bet it thinking Tua was going to play. And, yeah, now he's not going to play. He didn't clear concussion protocol. I think Skylar Thompson led Dolphins score 14, 17 points. I think the Bills, although the run game's not going to be the key, they've got to be able to run the football, but they can dink and dunk and take shots on these guys. They kind of went dormant in the second half of that second game they played in. I don't see that happening this week. I see them firing on all cylinders, especially last week they didn't play that well offensively. Could be it could be 31-17.
There you go.
Well, that's a sweat. It could be 37-17. It could be 31-13.
Hear me out on this.
Okay.
33-10.
Great. No, not good. Need
Why
a couple
not?
more points.
Oh, sorry.
My number's 44.
Sorry. and the greatest news of all, Damar Hamlin has just been discharged from the Buffalo hospital.
That's cool. That's cool.
If
He'll be on the sidelines
If he
probably.
makes an appearance.
Oh man, there's no roof, but the roof's going to come off the place.
Yep.
Yeah, the hope for Miami is they got the run game going a little bit. The second time they played them, I don't see that happening. Looking at the box counts as I anticipate them, Buffalo was missing Jordan Phillips, I think he's up, right, or is he on IR?
As I look at that, I think Miami's going to be down Mostert. So.
Yeah, Miami's down Mostert. Miami might not have Armstead. And, the Jeff Wilson, if you look at his carries, I don't think he's carried the ball more than 17 times since he's been in Miami. What kind of load are they going to put on him?
Jordan Phillips looks good.
Yep,
Good
Jordan
to go.
Phillips was a big deal the last time they played. So, also, just watching that game back, Jalen Phillips is a hell of a football player. And honestly, he should be on the edge more. I know they brought Chubb over, and I know they got Ingram, and I just really like him out there. He can beat the dog shit out of guards too, and I love the way they move him around. But he's a really nice player. Just as a side. Okay, 4 p.m. We've got the Giants, 4:40, Giants and Vikings. This game, I'm excited about this game. Steve, I watched the meeting from week 16, I guess it was.
Yeah.
I watched that back. Wink brought it early and on early downs. The Vikings screen game is going to be the key. If you can hit on some of these screens big as they have and some of this play action stuff against the blitz and you time it up, you can get really big chunks on this Giants defense. Their linebackers, they're just really aggressive, and they're not great. When I look at the blitz and Wink, every time they went to it and they needed somebody to make a play, it was Justin Jefferson. and he was so clutch. He had a late touchdown. He had 2 third-and-long conversions. I think the Giants made too many mistakes in this game, and that was the difference. I mean, Bellinger fumbled in the red zone. You had a bad James drop on 3rd and 5 outside the red zone, right outside the red zone. He had settled for 3. The Scottish Hammer got a punt block backed up. So, they left points on the board. My biggest concern for them is can you find somebody that's going to have that big game like Hodgins did the first time, because he wasn't afraid of Patrick Peterson. And Patrick Peterson, he got the better of him in the first half especially. I'm excited for that matchup.
Giants committed 50 more penalty yards, committed 2 more turnovers, lost time of possession. They were still right there. Vikings 2 penalties in that game, no turnovers. That's hell of impressive, but hard to replicate. Richie James went 8 for 90.
Get Saquon going earlier. They didn't get him going early in that game. And I know the Vikings are decent against the run, but you got to get him involved earlier.
Excited to see Dable in a winner-go-home situation.
Yeah, and listen, Ojulari was down in the second half. The Vikings O-line has injuries. O'Neal's down now. Bradbury could get back. On the other side, Neal had trouble with Hunter. Some of these trench matchups are really going to decide the outcome of this game, because a lot of this is going to be about converting. Converting on 3rd down, moving the ball down the field. The Giants, although the Vikings give up a bunch of big plays, that's not really their strong suit right now. So it's going to be – and Daniel Jones played really well the first time. He threw an interception and all that, but I thought he had some nice throws. So this is going to be a hell of a football game. Steve doesn't like it, though.
I don't. I just wonder about the weakness, obviously, is that Vikings secondary. To the Giants, you mentioned Hodgins. Do they have multiple guys to take advantage of that weakness? I look to see maybe Saquon get involved in the pass game, where they could get him matched up in favorable matchups. Would you rather take the over in this game or Jacksonville's?
I don't want to give away a lock.
Okay,
but
you don't have to.
but I'll shoot you straight. I think this game's going to go over.
Okay.
The first game should have gone over, and it didn't. I mean, like I said, a lot of points left on the field there.
Yeah. When you guys think of Vikings playoffs, isn't it like all the memories feel like they lost at home?
Except one.
2.
Well, there was one.
I know.
In particular.
NFC title game when the Giants went and got smoked by the Ravens. They beat the Vikings by a million in the Meadowlands.
Yep.
That's 2.
Amani Toomer.
Yep.
I think a Blair Walsh field goal. What was it? 20 yards?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that a day ago. Best wild card moments the last 20 years or whatever. That was pretty damn memorable.
And then Gary Anderson, 98.
The Vikings also they've also had a couple clutch moments in the playoffs in the past couple years. Well, I don't know about a couple. It was the Kyle Rudolph game-winning touchdown in New Orleans. So, listen, I'm excited about this. I just can't. I'm gonna bet the Viking, or I'm gonna bet the Giants. So when the locks come up, you guys can play that to your advantage.
Okay. Go Giants.
Right. Okay, Ravens and Bengals.
Sunday night. God damn, they just can't get these night games right. I mean, I don't know. Huntley's going to play. I do worry about them dinking and dunking. And what else are they going to do?
Well, I just could see that sometimes Huntley looks halfway decent back there. And, I think one of the biggest keys to this game is going to be Baltimore stopping the run out of that too high safety shell. That's what they do really well. And if you want Cincy to have to earn it, that's what you're going to have to do. Can Cincy run the ball into that look? That's going to be a big question for me. So you guys have a lot on this game.
DeMarcus Robinson, Sammy Watkins, James Prochet.
Yep. Let's talk about Lamar. Where do you want to see him end up next year?
Now we're talking.
Dolphins.
I would love that, because the same day I went on ESPN and a bunch of people skewered me over my Tua take, I also dropped a jewel on the general public and told them that Lamar would be in Miami.
Wow.
Yeah, so I hope we get some mileage out of that next year. Steve, where do you want to see him? I mean, the Jets are on the People have talked
Baltimore.
about that. Baltimore. You want to see him in Baltimore?
I do.
You don't like him.
I love Lamar.
Oh, no, I know you do.
I love Lamar.
Because he doesn't want to be in goddamn Baltimore.
Can I tell you, I was in L.A. Sunday, so like the 4 o'clock slate is obviously 1 o'clock out there, so you get 2 games. And they were the 2 L.A. teams.
Yeah.
And I thought it was bad growing up because in Connecticut you would get a dose of Giants, Jets, Patriots.
Yep.
But turning and being spoiled here, I like watching the Commanders' defense, and I obviously really like watching the Ravens. So spoiled here, and then to go out there and be locked in on Chargers-Broncos, I was like, I think I'm going to go for a walk here.
That's ugly, man. That's ugly. And
bad.
Also, no need to remind Reed about the state of his franchise.
Sorry. It wasn't a dig at Reed.
Steve, who do you like for that Broncos job?
Ooh, I am in the camp now, Chris, of I don't understand how NFL teams can hire a guy that's never been a head coach before. So that is my number one factor.
Well, then no one would ever get hired eventually. All the coaches would die. All the head coaches die. Then what happens?
Jim Harbaugh.
That's good. I mean, that's him and Russ would be an interesting marriage. And I know that the odds-on favorite right now, or the Broncos' favorite choice, was Sean Payton as of today, followed by Harbaugh. I thought Dan Quinn might be in the conversation, but
ooh, I would like Dan Quinn.
Yeah, Dan Quinn would be fun.
D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah.
Isn't Sean Payton going to say no?
To Denver?
Yeah.
Maybe. And I was talking about this the other day, Steve. You know, L.A. looks like an unattractive job as it sits right now, but if you can flip Jalen and Aaron Donald into like 2-3 firsts and a couple, whatever else, maybe that job's pretty damn attractive if you look at it in a year and you're tanked up looking at an elite quarterback, maybe somebody that would stay home.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm just looking at these jobs. I was looking at the L.A. job, and I'm like, I know it looks like a mushroom cloud right now, but in a year it could, like, the vegetation could come back.
I would hope so, because the Rams, I mean, we've known the jokes and everything about the draft and trading picks and, building that roster the way they did. And then for McVay to say he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild, he's kind of like the youngest head coach there is.
Yeah.
I mean, just the audacity of him, I love. Where he's like, not really interested.
Yeah,
in that.
Case in point, he wasn't a head coach before he was a head coach. Oh,
but everybody thought they were getting the next one.
Yep. Well, that's interesting, and so you're not going to bite on the Lamar thing. The other possible
I said Baltimore.
Yeah, but outside of Baltimore, the other possible suitors would be who?
Washington's looking.
Yeah.
The Jets are looking.
Yeah.
Titans, maybe.
Titans would be interesting. There's going to be so much. I mean, like with Brady and Lamar and Aaron Rodgers, there's going to be so much off-season fodder. Yeah. Green Bay. Yeah.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
L.A.
Mm-hmm. No, not LA.
Stafford.
Mm-hmm. All right, the last game of the weekend. One I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Only because I'd love to be right, and I've been saying for weeks that I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you should consider putting them on your ticket going into Super Wildcard Weekend. A lot has changed since Week 1. Week 1, it was hard for Dallas to move the football. I think the speed of this defense is, they're not a great team, but if they can make you earn it the whole way, create a couple turnovers, you never know with Tom Brady, and I just wonder if you guys feel the same way.
Is Vita Vea playing? That's what I need to know. You talk about making things hard, it starts with him.
Yeah.
And that's that. Just look at the Buccaneers' success with him. That defense plays totally different. You think about the matchups he eats up front. Those linebackers are different players when they can run free.
Yep.
And that's what
it
I think
unlocks
has hurt
that team speed. It really does.
Yeah.
And the secondary hasn't been as good. I think Carlton Davis might have played one of his best games the first time they played, and he hasn't been the same since. Dean's played pretty well. The secondary worries me a little bit. Vita Vea, his absence would worry me. But I do think they've got enough to scrap together the kind of game where you muddy this thing up.
I totally agree. I wish both teams could lose this game, but they're not gonna. I'm just tired of the every week this season. What's wrong with Tampa Bay? Are they going to make the playoffs? Yes, everybody knew they were going to make the playoffs because of the division they're in. And Dallas, it just comes down to me. Will we see Dak Prescott have success in the playoffs? I think there's a lot on his shoulders. I think it's pretty telling that he led the league in interceptions and played 5 less games. And I thought the loss of Amari Cooper really changed the way that offense looks. I still don't think Pollard gets enough touches. I think he's the biggest difference maker on that offense. And what are they going to do in crunch time? That's the thing with me with Dallas is when they get put up against it and it's a stress situation, what do they do and how do they react? It has not been pretty, and that's why I'll take Tampa.
Last 3 road games, they lost 40-34 in Jacksonville. They got Tennessee 27-13 famously against Josh Dobbs.
I don't remember.
Then they lose to Washington 26-6. And Dak plays the whole game, throws 14-37. But then you go before then they beat Minnesota 40-3. So you don't know what you're going to get. Yeah, with Cooper Rush. So you're flipping a coin, I think. I don't think you can pick this game with any sort of certainty.
I totally agree.
Is it a sure thing Dak's a Cowboy next year?
Ooh. Yeah.
Lamar to Dallas?
I don't know. I'm just wondering. I know they owe him like $40 million, but
it's got. I mean, you talk about something running its course. If he doesn't win this game, that oven is going to be hot.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what
the
I'm
whole
saying.
thing.
That's what I'm saying.
That's going to be the story Tuesday.
It's going to be hot for Mike McCarthy too.
Everybody.
And I know Jerry said, and I said this the other day. Jerry said that this wild card game won't decide the future of Mike McCarthy, but if you read the fine print, he's saying that there's more that they're evaluating Mike McCarthy on than this wild card game. So he has a way with words. He's a bit of a word.
Always has.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot riding on this game, and for Tom Brady, man, I hope it's not his last game. I don't think it's his last game. I'm almost certain he's going to play next year. Me and him don't talk as much anymore, but.
Got it.
It's not like I heard it from him.
Dak's 62-39 as a starter. I think you hang on to that guy. Figure it out around him.
He does. He is an out
because they haven't put enough around him. And I like Dak. I'm just saying. But I'm thinking like Jerry Jones.
It's just a hard position to get right. Is it Cooper Rush or a free agent?
Well, you just heard Brad Holmes say this. He's like, we're sticking with Jared Goff because it's easier to get worse at quarterback than better, which is interesting. That they really are sticking with Jared Goff. At least I don't know if you believe him, but at least next year. So maybe Jerry Jones needs to exercise the same patience. But the run on Dak it's been a long one. Anyways. All right, let's give out our locks, shall we?
Yes. Yeah, last place Macon goes first.
Our guesses. I just don't think I'm in last. Is
you don't think you're in last?
Is the interesting part of this. Okay.
Maricopa Macon.
That's funny.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's a good laugh. Steve liked that one.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to.
Come on now.
I'm going to hand the Big Buffalo number to one of you two jokers and take Cincinnati Bengals at home -7.5 against the Baltimore Ravens.
And you might buy a half. No, you wouldn't buy a half because you'd be buying to a push. Starting to figure this thing out despite being in second place.
Yeah, it's only week 19.
So I'm going to give out the. I'm gonna give out the Giants, man. +3. I telegraphed that thing, but I think the Giants, and I'll probably buy a half point at the end of this process.
Go G-Men, man. I love you, Coach Dable, and I love you, DJ, and I love you, Saquon.
Kenny Galladay could have a big game.
Isaiah, Richie, Kenny, I love you guys.
Played every snap last week.
Maybe Kenny Galladay just played himself out of his hole.
Maybe.
Maybe this is going to end.
Maybe they were saving him.
Yeah, it might have been. The funniest graphic I saw all year was the PMT graphic that it was like Kenny Golladay 74 catches for 1,000,000 yards. If you just get 74 catches this Sunday. But honestly, I don't know what's been the problem for with Dable and him. It's just one of those bad relationships between a player and coach. When the new guy comes in, he's like, "You're not one of my guys." He probably resents the contract.
He didn't set the world on fire last year either.
Didn't set the world on fire last year. Didn't have a great offseason. But how many catches are you going to get out of Hodgkins this week? Hodgins.
Hodgkins.
Yep.
Whatever you like. How about Landon Collins being a contributor?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're getting Dory Jackson back, too.
Dory Jackson.
Yeah.
Fucking Dexter.
I'm there, dude.
Kayvon.
Yep.
Jihad.
Uh-huh.
Love it.
Holy war in
Jihad.
Minnesota.
I'm joining Chris, even though he got a bad number. I'm taking the over in the Bills-Dolphins game.
Nice. That makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Make.
Yeah, for sure.
Back around to
I don't do totals, as you know. Can't see them.
You might have to if we do 6.
I think I'm only going to do totals.
Are we picking 6 or are we picking 3?
3.
6 feels irresponsible.
Unless it's just Thanksgiving week and we got to get Chris back in the mix and Reed calls you while you're eating Thanksgiving dinner and says, I have 9 picks ready for you.
All right, it came back around.
Guys
Buffalo
need to be better holiday bettors.
Buffalo by 13 points. It'll be 27.
That's a really good play.
Thanks, man.
You want your half point there?
You already used it.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
I thought Bengals is 8.
It's 7.5 on WinBet.
Hey,
right
WinBet.
now.
WinBet, my man.
It's minus 120. though.
Download, bet,
what's the under sitting at Baltimore Cincy?
41.
41. I think I'll take that, Steve. He pushed him.
All right, I will take the under Monday night. Cowboys-Bucs. What do we got there? 46?
45.
Ooh.
Oh.
Take it up with Win. Take it up with Steve wins
Yeah,
the
I want
state.
it. 23-20 is the final of that game.
23-20.
Yep.
Can I take a money line in this exercise? Or
Sure can.
Okay.
What?
All
You won't.
Okay.
You can't. Oh, you take a dog money line.
Taking Buffalo money line?
Everybody relax a little bit. Hey, I hear you on all of it.
Yeah.
Oh, this feels awful. Oh, I want to throw up. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to
take the Chargers.
No.
That's I started typing.
I'm going to take.
He was going to take the Vikings.
No, I was going to take the Cowboys.
Oh.
I'm going to take the Chargers -2. There it
Okay,
is.
I'm going to take the Jags +2.
Which one do you want your half point on, Chris? It'd be good for all of them.
Yeah, so I have the Jags. I'll take my half point on the the Giants.
Smart man.
Yeah, 3.5. 41 there. Cincy, it's going to be 23-14.
Giants.
23-14. 37 points. You add those two numbers up. That's the under.
Hey, what's 7 times 6?
7 times 6. 42.
You got it.
I'm good at math, man.
Yeah, I know you are. Hey, Steve, you still got a pick, my man.
I know.
He's wearing ECU gear. You see that? How many closets you have in your house?
Too many.
Maybe go into one of the closets and find one of the picks that he needs to make.
It's under a box.
Let's see. I got one. I'll take a Saturday game. So we have action all 3 days. I'm going to go under in Seattle Niners.
42.5.
Okay.
Done.
Okay. Hey, you're writing his pick on my line, Matt. Jeez, man. This is how it gets all screwy.
Now, here are some other bets I like since we've just wrapped them up. I would sprinkle a little bit on the Seattle money line. If I had to bet one, I'd probably bet Seattle +10. Mm-hmm. I don't feel strongly enough about the total in L.A. or in Jacksonville, rather. I would also bet Buffalo. In fact, I'm going to do it right now.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna bite at 10 like a coward.
Why don't you do a little Cincy Buffalo teaser? Tease God.
I could do a Cincy Buffalo teaser for sure. But you don't want the whole house of cards to come down if Alex Kappa's a big deal.
Yeah.
Hey,
Steve, if it's Kansas City.
Matt go to the Virginia-North Carolina game?
Macon invited Chris, but not me.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I can't attend games that late at night.
Got it.
Man, I hope Cincinnati wins, guys. I mean, I bet Cincinnati money line. I bet them, in 3 different teasers. This could be
That's going to go off at like 10.
Yeah, probably.
It's only going to go up.
Where would you play the AFC title game if it's at a neutral site, Steven?
Yale Bowl.
Yale Bowl. Yeah. Maybe the.
What about the Big House?
About the Palestra?
What about
Same
the big
exact stadium?
Big House?
Yale Bowl, Michigan Stadium, and the Rose Bowl.
Same stadium.
Same bowls.
Different capacities.
Got it.
It's got to be outside wherever they go.
But it won't be. They got to ensure that bad boy gets played.
Yep.
Indianapolis.
Like I said, I'm on the under.
They
Baltimore,
said no.
Cincy.
Indy said no?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And bet the Bucs.
It's going to end up in Vegas.
Detroit?
One more reminder, bet the Bucs.
Vegas.
Okay, who's sleeping the best? I'll tell you who's sleeping the best.
Hubert Davis, head coach of the Heels. He doesn't have to see Virginia for another 6 weeks.
Okay.
All
right, I'll go the Houston Texans players. There's nothing like when the bell finally sounds in an NFL season that you won 1 or 2 games. It's just like a warm blanket. It feels so great. And you got the whole off season ahead of you. Now with the new CBA, you don't have to be there till like fucking May or something. These guys are barely working. I'm coming around on these multimillionaires.
Yeah. Hey, how about Bryce Young? If he's indeed the consensus best quarterback, can't his circle get involved in who's jumping up to take that one pick from Chicago?
Sure, yeah. He's in the catbird seat, as they call it.
They now have a little bit more say than, I'm not going to go to Houston and play for your team.
See Mayo Boy just rocketing up the draft charts.
I think he's already there.
I mean, this is what happens.
I think he's already there.
Big, tall kid with blonde hair. All of a sudden, he's fucking Joe Montana.
I think trading up to 1 to get one of those quarterbacks is the wrong move.
Ooh.
I agree with you.
You take Will Anderson. That's what you do.
Jalen Carter.
I don't know if you take Will Anderson.
Take Will Anderson.
Oh, the Brock Purdy's going to win the Super Bowl. He was last pick.
There you go.
Yeah.
Got
to nail that
Can't
pick.
wait for all the Mr. Irrelevant jokes.
Steve, what
should I have taken the Cowboys? Did I take the Cowboys?
You did. Wait.
I took the Chargers.
Where's your sheet where you write the chicken scratch down?
I have until I am in a postseason pick 'em, but we have until Thursday night, so I don't have my piece of paper.
Okay, so
right.
Steve, who's sleeping the best? We got to
Kirby Smart.
Oh, Kirby Smart.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's drunk.
Isn't he out on that trail?
He's drunk.
No, he's sleeping pretty good. He's sleeping a hell of a lot better than he has the last 16 weeks.
Yeah, he seems like a guy who doesn't put his health first during the course of a season. I don't think he sleeps a lot. I could see him slamming Dr. Peppers and packing Zins all day.
I don't know that Chargers was the right pick.
Well, it's in.
Pick is in?
You know what, man? I'm in the giving spirit. If we'll take it to a vote. Should Macon be able to repick? Raise your hand if you think so.
Okay, 1, 2. We got a second in the back.
Yeah.
How many are in the room?
Including you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep, that's not enough. Sorry.
I'll vote yes on you too.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, I appreciate that.
No problem.
I'll stick with the Chargers.
Okay.
I don't need an appreciation back here.
He's the only one who was doing it.
Well, you're the one. He put me over the top.
You're right.
Let's go, Justin and the fellas. Eckler, that guy finds the end zone, huh? It's only a spasm for Mike.
Most yak in the league.
He could have gotten onto the bus if he needed to.
Road favorite in the playoffs?
Road?
Yeah, that's it's almost stinky.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? Did y'all see the Jaguars the other night?
Yeah, but that's not how they usually look. Mike Vrabel makes everybody look bad.
Hey, Steve.
It's like the studio light that we have here.
Your whole life, have you always said it Jaguars or however the hell you said it? Huh?
Jaguars.
Jaguars.
He's looking to the left and to the right. He's thinking. He's like, I don't know. I don't even know I said it like
Why, I say it wrong?
No, it's not a wrong thing. Just some people.
What do you say?
Jaguars, and you say Jaguars.
British people say Jaguar.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you say?
Jaguar.
Yeah.
Steve, we hope you have a great weekend. Hope you win a lot of money, and we hope you visit us soon. Although that probably is not going to happen till Duke.
You guys could drive this way once.
I am. I was going to come up last Saturday.
Good Lord.
Hey, remember when I was going to come up Saturday for that concert?
Yeah.
I got good news. The concert wasn't Saturday night. It's in April, so I'll see you in April.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Uh-huh. All right.
Did you buy a 2022 calendar and get the dates wrong?
No.
You got to buy 23 when it's 23.
It was just a group text thing. Guys were talking about it, and I'm a real this weekend guy.
You got confused.
I got confused.
What's amazing to me is how bad people are on group text when something is texted and they can't go back, and they were like, "Can somebody send me the date?" Just go back and look at it.
Yeah. Scroll.
Macon does.
I would just leave the group text. Hey, Steve, your Duke Blue Devils are coming back to town 1 month from today. It's a Saturday. Saturday at 4:00. Do you have
What's the date?
February the 11th.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Super Bowl, man. What's the date of the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah.
The next day.
Yeah, so we're not going to be here. Macon, you're not going to be here. You're going to be in L.A.
Macon gets to go on the road for the Super Bowl?
We offered him. We asked him the other day, are you going to come to the Super Bowl? And he was like,
That's not how
Macon.
That's not how it transpired.
I'm going to end on this one.
Yeah.
Two words.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it.
But doing it, Steve.
What?
Okay.
We'll have a lot of fun, man.
They have these things, cell phones. You can FaceTime your kids, your family, even if they don't want to see you. You know.
We also have this thing called the rest of your life.
Did you see that? That was my first Instagram story I've ever done. You see that? You see that today?
The kid that looks exactly like you?
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Who didn't want to have anything to do with me? Yeah, that was a good time. I would be there Wednesday to Friday, commercial flights. I'd be tired. Y'all are talking about Airbnb. I'd need my own hotel room. All right?
Why? You're that much of a weirdo?
Weirdo?
Yeah, those are the words I just used.
Well, where are you staying in Phoenix?
I don't know.
A hotel is where you'll be staying, Steve.
Probably not.
Probably be a suite.
Oh, it's Phoenix. It's just Phoenix. I thought it was L.A. for a second. It's just Phoenix, dude. It's right there. It's a lot closer than L.A.
Way closer.
So let's do it.
That'll be like Charlottesville to Richmond to Charlotte to Chicago to Phoenix.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get a bird.
Yeah, you're gonna get a bird on
There
Tuesday.
you go.
I can't be gone Tuesday to Saturday, but we'll talk.
All right. Have a good one, boys.
Do you see it, Steve?
See you, Steve.
A desert air is good for you.
Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.